Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Wednesday, October 18th. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, as we take a look at the late pick four for the Wednesday card. It includes an allowance feature that will be on the turf. We'll start in the fifth race where the pick four starts, Jim. It's a claiming event for fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs. And where did you land in here?
Well, when in doubt, at Keeneland this fall, you land on Julian Leperoux. So I want to take Controversy for Ronmo Academy outside, coming out of an allowance race at Laurel on the turf, moving back to a surface where she's been successful before. She ran okay in allowance, starter allowance at Ellis Park, but she won at Churchill. Very impressive, really, last November. So I'm going to say that Controversy is going to get a good trip from the outside and is probably going to be 5-2 in here, but I think that she's the best shot to win. When we get to the pick four, when we look at exotics, I would use the White Gold, the one horse, 26% trainer Dane Kabisky, and he always jumps up and gets a couple wins at Keeneland. He's won for 3 already, but Kabisky's a nice underrated trainer, so I think White Gold has a shot. I think Audacious Angel, even though only 1 for 15 lifetime, gets Jose Ortiz. Hopefully he comes in on Wednesday, and that moves this filly up. And then the 7-horse Stetson Gold for Eddie Keneally also looks pretty good coming off of a maiden win at Indiana Grand. So I would use the 10 on top of the 137 in the fifth race.
I ended up going to Audacious Angel, and the win record certainly makes you take a little pause. But this is only the third start for the Maker barn, so that record hasn't been piled up for Maker, and there's a little bit of a class drop here. Maker does well on this angle of turf to dirt, and good record at the distance. So all of those factors combined, I'm going to take Audacious Angel for the win pick, but Controversy and White Gold are the other two I like best in there. Merry Memories might consider a little bit as well. Sixth race, I think it's either the 7 or the 1A entry. I ended up taking the 7 Mississippi, first-time starter for the Cassie barn, and comes out of a 2-year-old sale, having fetched a big price. So I always like that angle in 2-year-old races this time of year. But the 1A entry of Zing Zang and Steel Shot, you got Asmussen on the 1 and Cassie, the trainer, the 1A. So that's potent 2. So I could go either one of those. Really, it's kind of a toss-up. Sir Sahib's the other one I thought merited a little bit of a look in there, the 2. How about you?
I went with Mississippi, who's the 6th horse after the entry is numbered out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, is that right? You got Zing Zang as the 1 and Steel Shot as the 1A. So Mississippi will be the 6th horse in the program. The $700,000 purchase price, Mark Cassie, great work. First out of 123.47, breezing out of the gate on October 7th. So, and then a maintenance work that was 48. So really, I mean, when you look at the work pattern, they obviously have him ready, and I think that the price itself gives this horse a lot of credence. I can use the entry as well. The 8 horse. My pages are turning here. Applewood for Brian Williamson ran really well first out at Churchill at 7 furlongs, which is a tough distance for a first-time starter. So coming back at the same distance, that experience could be big for the Brian Williamson barn. The other horse that I would use is possibly End of Spirits, first-time starter for Brian Lynch, who has had some horses that he really liked here at the track, but haven't run that well. And this horse has a couple of bullet works as well. So my top choice would be Mississippi the 6th, but I'd also use those other 3 that I talked about in the pick 4, unless I'm going to change my mind when I get to the pick 4, maybe single Mississippi.
7th race is an allowance feature for non-winners of 2 other than going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. These are fillies and mares 3 and up. I didn't find a standout in here. There are a couple of horses coming out of Saratoga races, and it's always certainly playing a tough schedule, racing up there in the summer. I ended up going to one of those, Now Power, the 8. Gets Leperoux, good local work. 6-1 price is intriguing too, because I don't want to take a favorite in a race where I don't think there's a standout. Frizzy Friday I thought was interesting for Correas. The 9 Sensitive for Cox. The 1 Light Up Our World. The 2 Brooks House, who has run well here. All of those I'm going to use in the pick 4, but I did lean to Now Power for the win pick. How about you?
you mentioned a lot of horses in this race, which is exactly what I did. I could go in all here, but if you have to narrow down your ticket, I settled on Light Up Your World, Light Up Our World. Arnold Delacour is 0 for 6 at the meet, but this horse has had 4 consistent races since shipping over from Great Britain, all in the 90s, and 2 of them in Grade 3 company at Parks and Monmouth. And those Monmouth races I've talked about in the past come up pretty tough. If they handle that turf course, they usually ship well down here. So Light Up Our World would be my top pick here, but I'd also use Sensitive the 9 for Brad Cox. Never throw Brad Cox out of a race at Keeneland. And Fizzy Friday the 10 with a nice win or near win in the risk-averse at Saratoga. It's a listed stakes, and this is an allowance race at Keeneland, so it's a step down in class. So I think Fizzy Friday fits very well in here. So the 1, 9, 10 are my top 3 choices, but I could go deeper in here in the Big Four.
And that gets us to the 8th race, 10K Claimers going a mile and a 16th to wrap up the pick 4. How'd you see this one?
I think Gabriel's Cat here, dropping from 15 down to 10. Sometimes Belterra horses don't get the respect that they should get at Keeneland, but these horses, if they're in good form, come here and they can run at this level. So 10,000 Claimer, I never toss out a Belterra horse that's run well there. Jack Tripp, the 2, also dropping in class from 15. The 1 horse, Candy My Boy for Brueggemann, doesn't run many horses here anymore, but Alvarado picks up the mount. And then the other choice that I had in here that I thought had a chance was the 9, Belvin on the outside for Chris Landeros and Tom Drury. So a lot of horses dropping from 15 down to 10, even though they're coming from minor tracks. So wide open 10,000 Claimer to end the day, and I think I can get through it with 4 horses.
I took the 1 in here, only the 3rd start of the year, so maybe a little upside left, a little bit of a class drop that you mentioned, and then I like the speed in a race like this. Horse that can get to the front, especially from the inside, going a mile and 16th. I like that angle. 3, Gabriel's Cat, Belvin the 9, Academy Bay 5 is another one that I'm going to throw in that was not on your list. So my pick 4 ticket, I'm going to start 3 horses in the first leg, Audacious Angel, Controversy, White Gold, using the entry plus Mississippi in the second leg. Then I'm going to use 1, 2, 8, 9, 10 in the third leg, that allowance feature. And then I'm going to go 4. I'll use all 4 in the last race, so for 50 cents. That's a $60 ticket. Couldn't find a single in there anywhere. How about you?
I've got a similar ticket. I'm going to use 4 horses in the first race. The 1, White Gold, Audacious Angel, the 3, Audacious Angel, Stetson Gold, the 7, and Controversy, the 10. Then I started to single Mississippi, but you talked me into the entry there, so I'm going to go 1, 6 in the second leg. Then 1, 9, 10 in the 7th, and that's the Light Up Our World with Sensitive and Fizzy Friday. And then 4 horses in the last, the 1, 2, 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, 9, Candy My Boy, Jack Tripp, Gabriel's Cat, and Belvin. So that's 1, 3, 7, 10 with 1, 6, with 1, 9, 10, with 1, 2, 3, 9 for $48.
Jim, one correction. I did look it up just a second ago while you were talking, and Mississippi is the 7 horse. So it is the 7 in the 6th race that is Mississippi that we both like. So factor that into your ticket building. And something else to factor into your handicapping for Wednesday is a huge carryover for Pick 6 players, and there are going to be more Pick 6 players than usual because of this, right?
Yes, we don't usually talk about Pick 6 on the podcast simply because Keeneland typically doesn't get huge Pick 6 pools. We get about $10,000, $12,000 a day. The California guys just don't play us for some reason. But it hasn't been hit all weekend. So going into Wednesday, we have a $132,849 carryover. So we expect to get probably $500,000 of new money in the pool. So Pick 6 becomes a really attractive proposition when you're looking at $132,000 in carryover money. It takes care of the takeout plus some. So you're looking into betting into a really lucrative pool.
Yeah, so let's do a Pick 6 ticket for our listeners. It's not normally one that we do. And we always, on our Pick 4 tickets, try to stay within a reasonable budget. So we'll do the same here. There will be syndicates that will be putting together huge tickets, but we'll try to do it on a budget and give you some things to think about. So give me a Pick 6 play that will start in race 3 on Wednesday.
Yeah, the budget becomes a little difficult with a $1 minimum instead of 50 cents, and with 6
combinations. So I came up with a couple of singles in here, and the first one is in the first race, the third race. There's a horse named Petrov who was on the Derby Trail earlier this year and didn't embarrass himself, but really wasn't that level of horse. It came back in the Gallant Bob last time and finished third, got beat by Cole Front in American Pastime, and it looks like a good spot for him to bounce back. So I'm going to single Petrov in the third race, which is the first leg of the Big Six. And I'm going to go 147 in the second leg. A tough little maiden claimer. Modicat Morning for Alvarado and William Harrigan. Fantastic from Ingrid Mason, and Drinks on Me, a first-time starter for Michael Baker. This was a tough one to get through, so if you're going to spread somewhere, that might be where you do it, but I kept it to 3. Then I modified my pick 4 ticket that we gave out earlier. I'm going to go with 3 horses in the third leg, which is the fifth race. I'm going to use the 1 White Gold, the 3 Audacious Angel, and the 10, my top pick, Controversy. You might want to cut that down a little bit. Controversy may be a strong favorite. And then I'm going to single a 7 horse, Mississippi. Make sure we know that is the 7 in the 6th race for Le Peru and Mark Cassie. And I'm going to leave my ticket like it was. The 1, 9, 10 in the 7th race, Light Up Our World, my top choice, along with Sensitive the 9 and Busy Friday the 10. And then the last race, if you can afford it, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 9 with Candy My Boy, Jack Tripp the 2, the 3 horse Gabriel's Cat, and then the 9 horse on the outside, Belvin. So I think that pick 6 ticket goes 3 with 1, 4, 7, with 1, 3, 10, with 7, with 1, 9, 10, with 1, 2, 3, 9. It's a little more expensive, but it's $108 for that ticket. If you can cut down in the last race, that might possibly cut you a little bit of money. But $108 to play into a $500,000 pool is not too bad.
I'm going to single the same one, Petrov, in the first leg. I think Excitation's maybe the only one I would think that could beat him, but on that big class drop, I'm going to single Petrov. I'm going to give you another one to consider in the second leg, the 4th race. The horse's number 3, Card Club from Lucas's barn. Had some good works here, and he's dropping out of tougher company, and there's just no rivals that really are real scary in here, so I think that one's got a shot. Cantastic and Drinks on Me are the other 2. I have to throw in that Ramsey Maker 7-horse first-time starter just on the connections. I'm going to keep using the same 3 that you did, that we both did in the pick 4 in the 5th race, 3, 10, and 1. I'm going to use Mississippi and the 1-1A entry in the 6th. I'm going to use 1, 8, 9, 10 in the 7th leg, adding Now Power. Le Peru in the saddle and comes out of some good Saratoga races. Brooks House was the other one I used in the pick 4, so I'll strike that one at 12 to 1 horse. I'll take him out for the pick 6 purposes. And then in the last leg, kind of depends on your budget. I'm going to use 1 and 9, Candy My Boy and Belvin. If you can expand, then my next choice would be the 3, Gabriel's Cat, and then my next one would be Academy Bay, the 5. So that's kind of on your budget. But if you just use the 1 and the 9, then you're talking about 1 by 3 by 3 by 2 by 4 by 2. So that's just a little over $100 as well. So I think we're both going to try to we could be out of it after the first leg with Petrov as a single, but I think a lot of folks may take that stand too.
Yeah, I think so too. Excitations was my second horse, but he ran so badly in the Gallant Bob was really not much of an excuse unless he just didn't like Parks. And he had bounced. He had a huge number in Amsterdam in July, and he hasn't run back to that. He never ran to it before. So I think Petrov is the most logical single in the entire sequence.
Best of luck with your wagers on the Wednesday card at Keeneland. If you're playing the pick 6, get some folks together, kind of pool your resources, and be able to do a bigger ticket that way can be a good way to attack this with a big opportunity here. And then we'll be back for another edition of this In the Money podcast for the Thursday card at KeenelandSelect.com.